What is up, guys? We are live. This is another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football. And if you're watching this, most likely you just watched the West Virginia Mountaineers win a pretty hard fought game over a pretty depleted North Carolina club. I think a lot of us thought it was going to be prettier than it was, but it was not. It was not. Before we get going, guys, we got a lot of people in the chat already. It's probably going to grow pretty large. Couple of things on this episode. I'm going to be putting the tag in the chat room here in just a second for if you want to join, maybe have a discussion about what happened and how you felt about the game. That's number one. Number two, just curious what you guys think about 2024. I want to hear your thoughts on 2024, guys. Did you feel like the offensive line showed up today? Did it miss Zach Frazier more than we thought? Number three, please, everybody hit that like button for me. I would appreciate that. It would certainly help me if you could do that so I can get some engagement on the video. And lastly, if you're watching this after the fact, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to leave a comment. I don't know if you guys got to see, but Neil Brown just took the bath. I changed my thumbnail at the last second to brown mayo. It's not very clever, but it was like a last second thing. So brown mayo is like if somebody that watch football, they have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. We've already got a super chat. Appreciate that. Illwin Studios, you left no comment. I assume you. Let me get this thing in the chat real quick for you guys. So in case anybody wants to join, we'll have everybody on for a minute or two. Okay. Invite guests. Copied. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to be posting this in the chat room right now. If you click on this, it'll take you to my studio. It'll let me know when you're there. And I can only run one at a time, so just keep that in mind. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Very much appreciated. I don't see anything else from you, but I'll be certain. Oh, yeah, comment and chat, it says. Mayo both sounds like a bukkake, and I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, my God. That was worth $5. That's absolutely worth $5 to say out loud. All right. Before we go any further, guys, let me acknowledge my sponsor, which is something I don't always do, I have to admit. But this is an important episode. So this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in a car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the Home and Fans for Friends and Family pricing only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for showing up. Appreciate all the channel members. Lizzo Barnes, I see a bunch of you guys in the chat room, but it's moving so fast, it's hard for me to keep up. That was a fun game, Daryl Yeater. To be honest, I was negative for a lot of the game. I think a lot of us expected us to play better in certain areas, but we won the game. There were times where I felt like the defense was playing back on this kid when he basically, he didn't show any ability to me to really be able to throw the ball accurately. Yes, he hit a couple, but that's because he had good receivers, in my opinion. Those are guys. If Drake May would have played tonight, guys, I don't know how this thing would have turned out. It would have been a shootout. We would have had to play better on offense, no doubt about it, but we would have had more possessions probably too. So I still think that would have been a fun game had the entire UNC roster been there. But it goes to show you just how much talent they truly have on that roster as well. They played really well. They've got a bunch of force. Mac Brown signed 3 straight top 15 classes. Timothy Hedrick Jr. said, great game. Future looks bright. I love mayonnaise, but not with fries. Okay. Appreciate that. I'll tell you what, the amount of whatever Dukes is paying to be in that game, I bet you they quadruple it, maybe even more. Just in because I'm in this now, I know a little bit about advertising and what it's worth, and the amount of advertising they got from the ESPN announcers, um, it's insane. To the victor goes the Mayo. That was what I should have put on the chat or on the thumbnail. Doggone it. Coos, if you're watching this, change my thumbnail to the victor goes the Mayo. Doggone it. Defense played extremely well, Jeffrey Landis. 7 sacks, 11 TFLs, 2 interceptions. Now, I will say this: that kid's his ankle was hurt bad, and I don't know, it limited him. We're lucky in that sense because I think he would have played better had it not been for the ankle. That was fortunate for us. It's football; it happens. But that ankle hindered him, and he wasn't able to get out of the pocket after that injury. And I think similar to Garrett, if you'll notice, Garrett got nicked up a couple times early in his career. You got to learn how to take hits, and you got to learn when to slide, and there's a timing to it, to avoiding hits, big hits, or getting rolled up on. I mean, you can't avoid them all. But I think, there is something to that, which is why we've seen CJ get hurt as well, played receiver his whole life. You move to running back, and all of a sudden you're getting hit a lot. And these are different size dudes. And I think that happened with Harold, too. He kind of just a young kid, not used to being hit by these grown men, WVU's got some grown men on defense. Lee Kova played an excellent ball game. I don't think I've seen him. He didn't miss a tackle. If he got his arms around somebody, they went down tonight. West Virginia played some cover 3 tonight, which was a little odd against this quarterback that couldn't throw the ball. It was really kind of took me off guard. And the amount of times they sent a blitz with either a corner or a spear or a safety was wild. They really sent the heat at this kid tonight, and it showed up in the box sheet absolutely. West Virginia eventually did get some semblance of the rushing performance going into the fourth quarter, which was nice to see. I'm going to try to pull some stats up here. I to be honest with you guys, I didn't get everything prepared because I was so invested in the game. And I've got a family member coming to get me here in about 15 minutes or so. So, they'll be leaving to come get me in about 15 minutes or so. So I was trying to crunch time in between everything. Guys, by the way, I'll put it in the chat one more time. If you want to join the show tonight, and I'm not saying you have to, click on this link. It will be video. You don't have to turn your video on, but if you click that StreamYard link right there, it will bring you into the chat with me. If you have something you want to say about the game tonight, I absolutely wouldn't mind to listen to that. But let's look at some of these stats from tonight. Did you guys see Ethan Bach's tweet? He called this the James Okonkwo Bowl. I got a little chuckle out of that. Or the Transfer Waiver Bowl. There was a couple funny ones. So Harrell was 18 of 27 for 199, 1 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Garrett Green was 12 of 24 for 228 and touchdown. 75 of that came on the first play. Hampton really held in check, 20 carries for 74 yards. Garrett Green, 9 carries for 75. Would love to see him get out on the edge a little bit more. Traylon Ray, obviously the future of our wide receiver room. Unfortunately, no Rodney Gallagher tonight. I still find myself wondering if they've really found a position for him yet. Hopefully he gets better at running routes. Obviously we don't have exactly a timing offense where Garrett's throwing basically off the same 3, 5, or 7 step drop every time. It's a lot of times they're moving the pocket, and we're going to have to find ways to get Rodney involved in the future. Blackwell had himself a pretty good day. 3 catches for 78 yards from North Carolina. J.J. Jones, which is a Mountaineer legacy kid, 4 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown off what was a blatant push-off pass interference, at least I thought. Beanie Bishop, with that really big punt return, especially when it happened. Hudson Clement, what can you say about the kid? Injured for a lot of the year. I think, 5 receptions for 89 yards, 17 yards a catch, and don't forget he lost 30, 40 yards on an ineligible receiver penalty. Thank God the refs didn't decide this thing tonight. But really, the future of our program is in the stat box. Traylon Ray, Hudson Commit, Cole Taylor, Jaheim White. I would throw C.J. Donaldson in there as well with Garrett. And that's the foundation for next year. We're going to have to get a little bit better on the offensive line. I think we're going to have to find another right tackle. Is Nick Malone the guy? Does Johnny Williams move up and take over? Do we feel good with Brandon Yates playing at center next year, or Jaquay Hubbard at guard? Or do we go into the portal this spring and really look at see who the graduate guys are? There's a couple of guys out there I think West Virginia would take for the offensive line if that were to happen. But generally speaking, I think the pieces are in the room. Just don't know if we're going to be as good as we were this year or not yet. It's going to be tough to tell. Week 1 against Penn State, it's going to be tough sledding. So I do think we need to add another piece or two in the wide receiver room, my personal opinion. There were some guys that didn't play tonight that tell me some, where was EJ Horton tonight? Things like that. Really was excited about his future and then didn't see him tonight. Not really sure what that means with him. There's a lot of questions about the team. There's going to be a player that goes into medical retirement after tonight. I'm not allowed to say who. It's not a starter, but it is somebody that plays. And then obviously the losses, just the seniors that graduate. Unfortunately, Devin Carter didn't work out, but he was a good blocker at receiver. Excuse me. But overall, I'm really proud of these guys, man, and get to 9 wins. When's the last time we felt this good, guys? It's been a long time. Somebody put another super chat down there, didn't they? I'm sorry, Eric. Eric Flowers said, I feel the loser should get the mail back. Right? That's a good point, man. All right, we got a guest in studio here. Who we got?
Hey, can you hear me?
Pat Meets World. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well, man. You're on Mountaineer Pulse Talk Football.
Yeah, I just want to say I enjoy your content. And I wanted to say I thought the D played well tonight. I thought we benefited from a young quarterback that UNC had. He held onto the ball a little bit too long, allowed us to get the 7 sacks we got. And I am impressed with the defense despite the amount of starters UNC lacked tonight. And the offense sputtered at times, but, with a long layoff like that, I think you can get that. So I think overall positive looking into next year.
I do too. And when you look at it, Pat, like I said earlier, Mac Brown's had 3 straight top 15 recruiting classes. These weren't bums stepping in for the starters. No, they didn't start. But over the last month, they've had a chance to develop even more besides what they did during the year. You may as well say these guys were in between whatever year they were and whatever year they're going to be. A lot of our young guys took steps too. But yeah, UNC's got a ton of talent. They recruit well. They recruited at the very top of the ACC with Florida State and Clemson. So I knew they were going to be replacing those guys with good players. And to your point, Harold did hold on to the ball, but it wasn't because of the receivers, really. It was because of the pressure and his ankle. I think had a lot to do with it. That and his obviously him being a young quarterback, he's not reading defenses yet. I was surprised they didn't cut the field in half for him and limit him to 1 or 2 reads. But I think once the ankle injury happened and they got down so fast, so far, they probably weren't prepared for all that.
Yeah, I would agree with that because early on he was running the ball pretty well against us, and
he was,
and we didn't really seem to have an answer. He was getting around the corners pretty well and up the middle, pretty much wherever he wanted to go, and made me a little nervous to be honest because he is fast. I knew he was a running quarterback, but I didn't really know how fast he was. And he has some speed. And about the recruiting that North Carolina has, I did keep hearing the broadcast say they had 4 and 5, on about 5, but quite a few 4-star recruits that were playing
They
tonight.
do.
So
They do. Yeah, absolutely. So, if you want to look at it from the talent perspective, I would say they probably had us beat, but not from the development perspective. That's the only difference between a 4 and a 5-star or a 5 and a 3-star. A lot of times is development, right? You look at a guy like Zach Frazier that was a barely a 3-star kid coming out, and then you look turns into a 5-star player by the end of his career. Probably, Alabama was trying to get him in the offseason this year. So
right.
at the end of the day, that's the difference between our team and theirs right now. Give that same team that was on the field this year another year, and there probably would be a really tough out
Yeah, something else I'd like
from
to
North
say.
Carolina.
I think we did miss Frazier tonight, and I heard a lot after the season. A lot of hype around White, and I had hype around White too, and he is a good back. But I think tonight showed why we need C.J. Donaldson. The tough running up the middle is something I think we missed tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not wrong on that. Obviously, CJ set the tone for us, no doubt about it. If you look, he was even able to get forward yards against Penn State, which was probably the best defense we saw all year. Um, and then obviously Zach, what he did for the middle of the reason we were able to run up the middle all year was the combination of how well the synergy between the left side, really just the entire left side, all the way from Wyatt over to Zach. Those three guys really synergized well together. And that was a bit off tonight. So I think, it just takes time playing together. And Zach is so dominant that you really didn't even have to hedge or chip his player half the time. I mean, if you look at the last play he ever made, he barehand smacked a guy that's going to play probably on Sundays in Baylor, one of their best defensive linemen, and almost knocked him in the neck. I mean, he's just a mauler. So, but yeah, absolutely, we missed Zach. Um, I hated that he couldn't play tonight, but I was glad to see him get the race cars yesterday.
No, I agree. And again, like I'd say, I'm just excited for next year. Even though, like I said, the offense sputtered, I think a lot of that's the layoff in a bowl game. You just never really know what you're going to get. But I think the future's bright at West Virginia, or at least next year, and we'll see what happens after that. And I apologize for cutting it short, but I have a sick kid, and I gotta go tend to my kids. So
Absolutely, man, no problem at all.
yeah, I appreciate you having me on. So
hey, no problem, Pat. You have a great weekend.
You too.
Sean Uphold, how you doing, brother? Thanks for the $5 super chat. Paul, I own Magic Shine Auto Spa in Tent, Morgantown. Let's talk about a sponsorship. How can I get in contact? The best way to contact me, Sean. Let me give you my. What would be the best for you? I don't really want to say my cell phone out in front of everybody. Let's go with. We'll figure this out. Let me think for a second. This is a little in front of so many people, not really sure how to go about it. I'll tell you what. I'll give you my email address. Um, it's I'll put it in the chat right now, and then you just shoot me an email right now if you can or if you have time, and then I'll get a hold of you. All right. All right, Sean. I appreciate that, man. And we can absolutely talk. So I would love and I would love to represent somebody from Morgantown, no doubt, man. So appreciate that. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. John's got the answer for me. Hey, how about the fans tonight, John? That's a good point. The fans were, man, they were game changers tonight. The pop that they had after the Traylon Ray catch at the beginning of the game sounded like Hulk Hogan or John Cena or CM Punk when he came back. It was just one hell of a pop. Um, that was exciting. You heard all day that it was 80-20, possibly 85-15, 90-10 West Virginia. I think the lack of Drake May obviously had a lot to do with that. Unfortunately, he didn't play, but fortunate for us, right? I think you always want to beat a man at their best, but we played who we played. It's just like, people bring up the four newcomers that we played this year as a negative to our now 9 wins. And my thing is like, what are we supposed to do? We can't reschedule, so you can only play who you can play. It's not like we can make Drake May play in the game. I already seen people posting after the game that there's an asterisk beside this win, and I even said before the game on X that was going to be the case. And those people that like to post that stuff just don't engage in their content. You know, had we lost this game tonight, whole different story. You know, I think that would, with what UNC was missing tonight, there would have been no excuse for us to lose this game tonight outside of some just incredible things happening. Like, sometimes it's out of a coach's control, 8, 9 fumbles, whatever. But this clearly we were the better team, even though we didn't play great. We played good enough. Lisdell, don't do it, man. Hey, Mountaineer Lair with Kenny. What's up, brother? Glad to see you around. Mountaineer Lair, do you still make content? I haven't seen any of your videos come up in a while, man. I was wondering about that. Did you make any of them slaw dogs tonight, bud? I Kenny's got some good content on his channel, guys. If you ever go over to his channel, he used to make videos for West Virginia. Although I haven't seen him putting up anything in a while, so it's a competitive field with the West Virginia content creators. When you look at it, it's obviously me and Coos, but we're partners. Um, and then you look at Country Roads Webcast, who does, in my opinion, as good a job as anybody. I really love the work that he does over there. Then you look at Ryan and Rush. I mean, there's just so many different sets, and that's not including the media. Like the Ear Sports guys or the Three Guys for the Game or um, Keenan Cummings when he does it Rivals. Um, and so it's hard to make it in this field, but once you get your niche, you're good. You just got to be genuine. So yeah, man, it's hard not to be happy for Neil Colby. Um, he deserves it. He's put a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears into this university. And even though he's lost a lot of games, we still haven't been very good to him in a lot of ways. I think certain things, it's just happened. It happened for so long. 1 year, 2 year of losing sucks, but coming out of the Pat White years into the Dana Holgerson era / Bill Stewart, really, where we were still winning 8, 9 games, kind of like what we did this year. Into now where it just kept trending downward. And I think Neil was kind of feeling the brunt of basically a lot of what that is, that negativity that was built up over the course of now 5 years. But he's got to win more than now. He's set, he's at least got to match this win total next year, right? And that's the thing. You can't go backwards from here. So it's going to be hard to live up to, but I think he can do it. Right, but this is a different area now, Nate. Well, I mean, listen, we can get into the discussion if you want, but this is a different era. Like comparing eras in today's day and age is not. It's really just not possible based on the way the roster management situation is, or tension. It takes a whole new type of coach. You know what I'm saying? Narrative I heard a lot leading up to the game was that UNC didn't even want to be there. They weren't going to play hard, but this wasn't the case at all. They should have played hard. Mac Brown's an elite coach. He's got a national championship under his belt. That Texas team they put together was one of the most talented teams in the country. The team that they had that lost to Alabama was extremely talented. They're continuing. He's going to always recruit good players, and they're always going to play for Mac Brown. Look at the guy. Listen to the guy talk. He's extremely, extremely genuine, or at least it comes off that way to me. So I would want to play for Mac Brown, no doubt. I mean, he's one of my favorites. So I'm surprised people thought that. Oh, Greg, man, that's a great point. I'll dedicate this show to Golden Blue Dude. You know, I wish I'd have thought about it sooner, but you're right. Um, I don't even know if his channel puts out content anymore, Greg. And I know his brothers took it over, and I'll keep to myself some of the things that I feel about it. But they could have put that thing in somebody in more experienced's hands that kind of knew how to run that channel a little better. So because I mean, I was looking at some of the live shows, they had like 7 or 8 guys in there from a guy that had 400 or 500. You know, he had 400 or 500 people in his chat room every day almost. So this is for Golden Blue Dude, who was obviously a passionate West Virginia fan, just such a young age and just shockingly passed away on us last year. I'm so glad I got to know Gigi, um, Golden Blue Dude. Um, I appreciate you for bringing that up, Greg. It means a lot, man. He was a good guy. He really was. I hate to put a little damper on anything, but man, played aggressive, hit hard, and they just got outplayed. Reagan McNeil Exorcist said Mountaineer fan stuck in North Carolina, so glad we won. Go Bears. I don't recognize your name, man. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And anybody, we got 146 people in the chat room. Do me a favor, guys. Um, I don't usually ask for money. I will mention the super chat button. If you want to do that, that's cool. But the best way you can help me is just pop out and hit the like button for me, and then come back if you have to. That way I could got a head start on the likes. If I can get 100 likes like right now, YouTube will see that there's engagement with the video and it'll do well for me and help me in that way and get some subscribers and people. I'm trying to get to 2,000 people, subscribers. So on this channel alone, which I've already got close to that on another channel as well. So really appreciate you guys, man, for coming in, stopping in to this episode. ESPN did go Mayo crazy, John Kelly. I've got a family member outside. I will be releasing more content. Yeah, John, that's sad, isn't it, man? It is. Hey, thanks, Cole D. Um, I got a family member outside waiting on me, and I hate to cut it short. I really, really do, but I've got to get outside, and I've got my autistic nephew's waiting on me to play video games with him tonight. I promised I would do that with him, so I'm gonna go do that and make good on my promise to him. But the Mountaineers won, guys, and I think we have a lot to be happy about. Enjoy your evening, and I'll be making a lot more content over the next couple days. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what you want to see next. Do you want me to talk about the Mountaineers in 2024? Do you want to hear about some of the recruiting news that I have? Because I know about a few things. And if you're not familiar with my channel, go look on the channel. I've got plenty of recruits that I've talked to, plenty of coaches that I've talked to. Just a couple of days ago, I dropped a video with screenshots from conversations that I have with players. I like to have that credibility, as I always say. So check out the channel if you're new. If you're not, appreciate you guys for being here as always. This has been another episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. We won the game, guys. Q Country Roads. This episode is over. I'm out.